Hi, everyone. So I'm Anthony Yeo, co-founder of Artemis, a crypto data company trusted by Visa, PayPal, Stripe, Fidelity, and more. And today, we are joined by Sam MacPherson. Sam, I've been a long-time follower of MakerDAO and DAI and a huge fan of your work. But for the audience here who are maybe not be as familiar with your work, would you mind giving a brief introduction of yourself?
Sure. I'm Sam MacPherson, co-founder, CEO of Spark, and we do commercial lending within the Sky, formerly MakerDAO ecosystem. We deploy the USDS balance sheet into opportunities in DeFi, CeFi, as well as RWA's TradFi.
Awesome. And so today's topic for this Fireside Chat is institutional adoption of stablecoins. And so first off, can you give an introduction of Spark and how it's different from Sky? I think a lot of folks have heard of DAI and now Sky, or MakerDAO and Sky. I think Spark is kind of a newer initiative.
Yeah, the relation can. The best analogy is Sky is like a central bank, and it's the currency issuer, and it's unopinionated, and the goal of Sky is to provide liquidity to the sub-DAOs, of which Spark is one of them, but there are others as well. So Spark functions more as a commercial bank, like connecting into various opportunities, and we form partnerships and stuff like that. So we're more like on the ground, meeting with people and stuff like that. Because of the sub-DAO model system, we have a privileged position within Sky where Spark is able to borrow capital at a wholesale rate at very large size and deploy it into whatever the opportunity is. Spark retains 100% of the revenue on top of the base rate that it pays to Sky. So yeah, this model of a central, these aren't banks, but I think it's a useful analogy.
Great. So you can kind of think of Spark as like commercial arm of sort of Sky / previously MakerDAO. So what changed? Like what was there? Yeah, like I'm curious. Like why now? I think there were previous attempts like Aave's Arc to like make DeFi more appetizable to institutions, and so something must have like sparked this new initiative, Spark. So can you tell a bit more about like what the inspiration is and why now?
Yeah, so maybe let's talk a little bit about the internal lending market, which is called SparkLend. This is the second largest money market on Ethereum, and it is really like one of the only ones that's like at this large scale and catering to institutions. So in SparkLend, we're not listing every collateral under the sun. We're not rehypothecating all the collateral. It's designed to be specifically oriented around cross-margin stablecoin borrowing on the main scaled assets like Bitcoin, various flavors of wrapped Bitcoin, ETH, LSTs, LRTs. This is really what most of the institutions want to borrow against, and so the market is catered to that. And so we see, especially with institutions getting more comfortable coming on chain, this has been changing more and more rapidly, just because on the one side you have demand for stablecoins exploding. This chart is just up into the right, bear and bull conditions. And so what that does is it moves a lot of cheap capital on chain, and so there's a huge incentive for these institutions to come on chain. A lot of them, historically do like, and even now do like OTC lending, and the rates in CeFi are often much higher, and so there's this big incentive. Rates on SparkLend, for example, borrowing USDS, USDC is 5.5% APY right now, and it's pretty steady. These, you can borrow 100 million, you can borrow 500 million, and the rate will still be at this level. Similarly, we're ramping up support for USDT. That market is now, I think as of today, like about 800 million. We're ramping that up past $1 billion even, and we struck a deal with PayPal, just announced last week, 1 billion deployed PiUSD into SparkLend. That stands at about 500 million and rapidly growing. That will scale up to 1 billion. And the key piece here is having a market that's oriented to institutions where they can come in and get the cheapest credit available on chain, we think is going to be the key to the next phase of growth. And especially with all the fintechs getting involved, like this is an inflection point. I see this with the U.S. regulatory posture change. Everybody's diving in now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was actually on the Spark Lend app yesterday, taking a look at all the different rates, and we're also partners with PayPal. And then I saw that you guys are offering 2.99% borrowing rates, which is by far the lowest across all the different assets you guys have. Can you tell us a bit more about like how you guys are able to do this? It's very impressive because it's extremely competitive.
Yeah. So this partnership is like a mutually beneficial where PayPal is now getting more involved in DeFi, and because of our advanced scaled infrastructure for deploying liquidity into multiple places, so we have our own balance sheet going into the PayPal USD. So with this, institutions who want to grow their stablecoins, instead of the normal strategy up until now has been to just put incentives on some market, and then hopefully the market kind of fills it in, but you have no idea what the capacity is. With Spark, we can target specific numbers, and then there's a specific cost to this. There is a subsidy from PayPal to grow this market, but then as Spark, we're able to fill in hit the X target for, Spark Lend liquidity or, other lending markets, as well as we filled in the DEX liquidity. So one of the issues is like that if people are borrowing, even if the rate is like 2-3%, it's like, why isn't everybody borrowing this, right? It's because there needs to be liquidity within the broader DeFi ecosystem, or else people may be, they're paying for large swap fees, and they may feel like they can be trapped if these program unwinds. So again, with Spark, we have 100 million deployed into Curve USDS Pi USD pool, which allows, and then on the back end of USDS, you have reserves like USDC and now USDT. So this kind of provides a scaled source of on-chain liquidity that gives confidence to borrowers that they can borrow the Pi USD and really bootstrap the whole ecosystem. It's a much cheaper way to do this on PayPal's side. You get certainty, and then on our side, it's a good business line.
Yeah, that's very fascinating because we on the data side see how like actually ineffective just like simple incentive campaigns are, and so seeing this innovation from Spark is very, very fascinating. And so I would love to actually pivot a little bit to talk about the future. And so can you say a bit more about what you are most excited about with Spark's roadmap in the coming 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, I mean, so much is going on. We just released a roadmap, but I'll quickly run over it because we're almost out of time. So we have a Savings V2 product launching. This is cross-chain yield generation. We will be exporting the Sky savings rate, currently 4.75%. It's on USDC. We'll be supporting now USDT, so full liquidity with USDT, providing the savings rate, and the back-end yield generation uses the Spark liquidity layer, which currently has 3 billion deployed, but it was upwards of 4 during bull market conditions. So that's going live in the coming weeks. We also have institutional lending. We announced a partnership with Morpho. We're going to be using the Morpho V2. This is something so many people have been asking for, is institutions in particular. They want fixed rate loans. And so that doesn't exist really on chain. So we're going to be ramping that up with Morpho V2 infrastructure. That's quite exciting. We announced there's going to be a Spark mobile app. There'll be like card payments, stuff like that. What else do we have? Yeah, and just generally the stablecoin liquidity as a service, just generalizing this so that other stablecoins can take advantage of this system to bootstrap their way into DeFi.
Awesome. And in the last minute, as someone who's been building in stablecoins and stablecoin infrastructure so long, what's your like one myth that you think that needs to like die about stablecoins and lending?
That it's an easy business. I think everybody looks at what Tether's done and they're like, oh, it's just like a money printing tree, and it is. In normal cases, it's a losing business. So it's very hard to get into, and I think we'll see some success cases coming out, and I think Spark will be part of facilitating these success cases. But it is not an easy business. You definitely need big distribution to even get started. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and so I think that makes you guys' background even more impressive, and the progress you guys have been made even more impressive. And so congratulations on the success, and I wish you guys more smooth sailing ahead.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.